Today, most pizzerias are using something like this to proof their dough. This is made out of plastic. Some pizza places are still using aluminum trays like this, but before this, pizza places were using wood. And so today I'm going to go back into the past and I'm going to make wooden dough boxes. In the old days, these boxes were usually made out of a soft wood like pine, probably because it was more readily available and it is also easier to work with. I'm going to be making mine out of cherry because I actually have a lot of it here in my shop. I'm going to be milling down my own lumber, but if you don't have these tools, you could just buy 3/4 inch stock at your local supplier and do the same thing that I'm going to be doing here in this video. Most of you don't know this, but I am a history teacher, and when I was researching this project, I was pretty surprised that there was an interesting story to be told here about these dough boxes. Prior to World War I, there really was no plastic, so wood was what they were using for the proofing of these dough balls that would eventually be made into pizzas. And the story goes that the Italian immigrants that came into New York, they opened up pizzerias and they were using these wooden boxes, and they would have carpenters make it for them. After World War II, when plastic became more commonly used and also became affordable, pizzerias started to convert and change the way they were doing things and eventually started using plastic. A lot of pizzerias were also using metal. By the 1960s, plastic kitchenware was the material of choice, not just commercially, but also in people's homes. So why am I going backwards and making wooden dough boxes again? I am a believer that when it comes to food and cooking, the old ways will always yield better results than new methods. Of course, the next question you need to ask is, well, what's the difference between a wooden dough box and a metal dough box? Dough is dough, and as long as it's cooked properly, it's going to yield a great pizza. Well, that's not necessarily true. According to the research that I did, and I haven't tested it yet, they say that wooden dough boxes will yield a better crust because the dough will sit and proof in this wooden box, and wood absorbs moisture, which means that when you stretch out your dough, the bottom part of the dough is going to have less moisture than the top part, which is going to give you a crispier bottom crust. At least that's what they say. Maybe we'll do a video and test that theory out, but I am curious to see if that really is what's going to end up happening here when I start using these boxes. Alright, so let's get back to this build here. Building these boxes can be a very simple process. I mean, you're really just making a box with 4 sides. But you're going to see here that I'm going to be using box joints, and the reason for that is because I've never done that before, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to try something new and improve my skill set. But if you want to make these and keep it simple, I mean, it's really just 4 sides and nails would work. I mean, you don't need anything fancy here. I'm going to be making 4 of these proofing boxes, and I want them to be stackable, so you're going to see how I build these so that way they do kind of lock into each other. Off camera, I milled down some more cherry, and now I'm gluing everything up so that way it's going to be large enough to cover these boxes. Once I cut everything down to the appropriate size, I'm going to be using my dado stack to cut rabbets. That way it locks in when you use it as a cover. I also want to taper the top edges of this cover because I think it's going to look cool, and to do that I'm going to be making this table saw jig because I really don't want to cut my fingers off. By the way, I am proud to announce that I've started a new channel. It is called On the Flame, and it's all about cooking, and a lot of it is in my brick oven. So if that's something that you're into, I will link it in the description and you can check it out. To finish these off, I'm going to be using oil. Now this is the same kind of oil that you would use for a cutting board, except that you're not going to be applying anything on the inside. This is only going to be applied to the outside surfaces, and that's going to really make the grain pop, which is going to make this really look nice. Don't forget, if you are interested in food and you want to see what's cooking in my oven, check out my other channel, On the Flame. I will put the link in the description. That's a wrap for this one, guys. Please tell me what you think about these boxes in the comments. If you have any questions, also put those in the comments and I will do my best to get back to you. If you're new to the channel, please check out my other videos, and if you like what you see, please think about subscribing. That is the best way you can help me and my channel grow. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon in the next one.